Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you? This is Freddie Ewan, three-time GM of the Year, the 2022 Pan Cup champion, the 2023 regular season champion, and the 2024 Pan Cup runner-up, and most importantly, host of that fantasy football show with Freddie Ewan. We got a fantastic show tonight. One of the best guests we have ever had on this show. The guy's from Jersey. They call him the Don of fantasy football. The only negative against him is he's a Giants fan, but if there's anyone who's more of a degenerate when it comes to fantasy football, it's this guy, Mike Deng. Mike, what's going on, my man?
What's going on, Freddie?
So, where are you right now? You're in the middle of a parking lot outside Starbucks somewhere in North Jersey.
Yep, I'm in Little Ferry, New Jersey, Bergen County right now. The house was madness. Told the wife I got to go do some fantasy things. She wasn't happy, but can't cancel on my boy.
This is one of the great things about fantasy football that I always talk about on this show is, fantasy football leagues, it's mostly people who know people, friends of friends. And, 3 or 4 years ago, I didn't know you for shit, and now all of a sudden we're in 50 freaking leagues together. We're creating leagues together, the whole 9 yards. Am I
Yep,
right?
yep.
One of the best things about
Passion of fantasy football.
it's one of the best things, and it's the brotherhoods and the friendships that you make along the way. um this show might be controversial. We're going to see how it turns out tonight, but we were in a fantasy football league that we've talked about. It was a no limit fantasy football league, and it was a fantastic league, a lot of fun. I might have tapped the glass in poker. They say don't disturb the fish. I might have tapped the glass a little bit too much in that league.
I broke it,
Broke it, maybe.
smashed
But
it wide open.
yeah, smashed it. Yep. But out of that, you're always looking for a league to, the ultimate, they call it fantasy football because you want to compare it to an NFL or something like that. And, the thing about this league that we were in, it looked like the people that were spending all the money and the people that were spending just a little bit of money, there was really no kind of in between and no chance. And what we're going to show you tonight, I think we kind of fixed that, where every team might have a good chance for a return of investment, whether you're one of the top spenders or one of the bottom spenders. If you're one of the top spenders, you have a chance to make a lot more money. But if you're one of the bottom spenders, you also have a chance to make money and have an ROI, which I think was, you look at Major League Baseball, and, there's no salary cap in Major League Baseball, but there is a luxury tax. And if there wasn't a luxury tax, that luxury tax goes to disperse smaller teams. The Pittsburgh Pirates would go out of business. The Washington Nationals would go out of business.
The Marlins.
The Marlins, another example. So, that's kind of how we kind of designed this league, and it's just the playoff atmosphere, and the SAQUON fine, and even how we're doing the playoffs is very interesting. I want to share my screen with you really quick though, because I did do some things last year, Mike, and I really want to,
Yeah, you put some nice sheets together with data I mean, I know you talk about the ROI. Obviously, I think this no limit league that we created, obviously it's kind of taken off the vision that were a part of, and I know you had a lot of great input in that league. I feel like I had some good input. I know you talk about ROI, but I feel like last year there was some heavy spenders that did win, but I hate I was one of the lower spenders, and I think I had the second highest ROI. I think the first year the guy, I think that's the difference between some people. Some people, everyone's strategy is different. You could have the strategy where I just want to spend the most money to win a championship and I'm going to go for it. Or you could have the strategy where I'm just going to go after my guys for a certain budget and I'm going to try to make the most money I can between high scores or getting second and third. And I like that. I do think I fell in love with the whole no limit fantasy model from the JGL that I'm still a part of. I love the brotherhood and the structure they have there. I think it's growing. I think the rift of we're kind of evolving it into something different that has a lot of potential. I think no limit fantasy football could be in 10 years from now something everyone's playing, just like guillotine leagues were not too long ago. I think it's a great style. It's very unique. And people that are really good and passionate about fantasy, it's special. A lot of people don't understand it right away, but I think it has all the potential in the world.
absolutely. And you look at a lot like how, fantasy has evolved to,
Yeah.
From snake drafts to salary drafts to guillotine leagues to best balls to, it's a huge industry now.
Well, just the way it evolved, it almost sucks because like I used to be great. Like I mean, I'm still good, but I used to have all the sleepers. Now all these people have access to everything, whether it's
Everything,
Instagram, rankings,
everything.
apps. It's like
Mhm.
you could have no skills at all, but you look at this stuff and these guys are drafting my guys 2 rounds before I was expecting them to go. And that didn't happen 5, 10 years ago.
Absolutely. It's funny that you say that. I compare fantasy football to poker so much. And I
Yeah.
played professional poker for 4 years, 15, 16 years ago in Las Vegas. And, I consider myself to be a pretty above average poker player still. But if I was to try to play professional poker these days with all the information that was out there, I wouldn't last a day. I wouldn't
Yeah.
last a day. The guys are so much better than they were 15, 16 years ago. And that
So much
really
more
relates to fantasy
research, so much more
football.
research and information out there.
Absolutely. So this is, I put you up on here. This is, one team. I think this might have been the team that won.
That's the guy I lost to in the championship.
Yeah, yeah, but I just want to show you on this axis right here. All right. So this is his team, right? And you go to the right and it's the spend, and top is the points in the year, right? So you really want to get the minimum spend, the highest points, right? Like this
Mm.
area right here is usually the best area to get in, right? Where you're spending
Hmm.
for guys $100 and the points are going over 150, whatnot. So this guy, his one player that scored almost 150 points under $100 was Loveland. He had a couple guys between 100 and 150. London was okay. Dak was a quarterback. Spent $250 for Bijan. Look at the money you spent for Henry as it goes down. Jefferson, it goes down. But you see
Yeah,
this graph right here, right?
yeah. Some of them were keepers, obviously, but yeah, I mean, there's not many good, huge values there.
So let me just show your graph. All right. Look at your graph. Look at the two graphs compared to each other. And this is exactly why you did so well and got an ROI in this. And this is exactly where your skill came into play almost. You have all these guys, every single player under $150, every single one of them under $150. Look at JSN right there, almost 350 points. Pickens, you spent $125 for up there. Adams, $110 for, almost got you 200 points. Every single guy under $100 up in that level. And back at this, it just keeps going to the right. More points on the top, but you could see a lot more spend. And I tried to get this before I saw it, but this guy basically spent $1.03 per point, and I think you spent like something like 13 cents per point or something.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that. You did that last year. It
So
was,
it's like, it's just it was just very interesting to see. I also put something in. This was Irwin R. Shyster, the other guy who spent a lot, who drafted the two quarterbacks, and you can see his is
yeah,
all over the place, way to the right.
yeah,
Some big guys that scored, but then again, you're not really getting the best value on these guys when you're going right there. So, basically, if those guys are watching, and I'm sure they probably are, that's the graph you want to get at. Anyway, we're going to talk about this new league that's coming out. I think we probably already have close to 9 GMs. I know one's on the hook. We probably need about three more GMs, so we're getting close pretty quickly. Um, it's going to be a good league. Like I said, the last league we kind of took some things, put this all together to turn this into what I think. Hopefully, whenever you start a league like this, that you're going to run into some kind of there's going to be something along the year that you totally forgot about. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think it's just more scalable. I think, the no keepers, allows for, easy stuff for the year to year if managers quit or don't renew. I think there's a lot more rewards and balance of payouts that, where teams that don't overspend can still be rewarded and get their money back or still double their money. I think those are strong things that are a little bit different than previous leagues we've done.
So this is a auction draft. Obviously, there's a $400 minimum spend to the draft. There is one thing that I did not like about this other league was, and that can happen if you see a bunch of guys spend a lot of money, not a bunch of guys, is almost guys where they have like two or three quarterbacks that, and two of the top four quarterbacks and one guy's on the bench the whole year. That's something we're trying to avoid to a T a little bit with this roster equity. You can't have three quarterbacks or a fifth flex player until one guy has one. Pretty easy to that. The money breakdown is going to be a lot different. Luxury tax, obviously. Um, this is the important part, and I think that most people will understand this. But if you spend anywhere from less than $700, you're not going to be taxed anything. If you spend between $700 and $1,200, you are going to be taxed $1.50 for every dollar you spend.
Mhm.
And then you go into the second tier once you go over 1,200, which you're going to be charged $2 to every $1. So it gets really steep the more money you spend.
Yep.
Really steep, as you can look.
Very steep. It makes it so it almost makes it as if you really overspend, you better win because if not, you're basically could spend all that money and if you don't get first place, even if you get first place, you only might be walking away with a little bit of dollars.
Absolutely. I mean, that situation happened. I've seen that situation happen before. The objective obviously is, you know, you're going to get the better team and it's going to be worth it and you're going to win. Um, the way we did the pool, I think is pretty cool. This was your idea. Instead of having 8 teams or 6 teams in the playoffs in the NFL, there's 7 teams in the playoffs. The
Yep.
regular season, it's so funny because you look at fantasy football and in the regular season, it almost like with an 18
Doesn't
league,
matter.
there's nothing,
Means nothing.
and even in a 16 league, you get the 2 teams with a bye, but the team who wins the regular season is still in the same place as the guy who comes in second. So what you
Yeah.
came up with here, where it's 7 teams, just like the NFL does it. If you win the regular season, you are the only team with a bye. You just have to win 2 games and you're the champion, and you're guaranteed, regardless, to be in the third place game to win money. So
Yep.
it's there's been so many times I know we've both been on the end of this where we're the 1 seed in an 8 team league and have a great regular season and then we lose our playoff game and that's it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Well, and that's why we're doing the playoff. We're doing a payout to all playoff teams, I believe, as well. So it's actually makes sense.
that's this is we're going to get down to that in a second. The losers bracket, we are going to have a consolation tournament. If you are the last place team, you're done. You're
Yep.
not getting into any playoffs if you're the last place team, and not only that, you have to pay $100.
Yep.
So, what's going to happen with the last round? Well, just to get back to the first round, so the top 3 teams are going to win money. It's going to be split up where it's going to be 50, 30, 20 to first, second, and third. The consolation tournament is going to be between the bottom 4 teams, and the winner of that is going to get half of the second tier luxury tax and the $100 SACO fine. The We don't know what's going to happen. There might be no teams that go into the second tier. So, the losers
You
bracket,
might be playing for only $100.
yeah, but they're still gonna have. We're gonna see what happens. There might be big spenders. There might be not big spenders.
Mhm.
Um, it could be significant too. You could have a guy in there who's going to spend a ton of money, and you might have the losers bracket be a ton. The way
Mhm.
you did this was beautifully. You came up with a lot of this idea too on how the payouts work and whatnot. So this entire first tier tax, no matter what, is going to go into the main prize pool.
Mhm.
Um, this is just an example, but if the main prize pool is 13,100, these are the 3 place finishes. So, if you're in the second tier spending if you spend, $2,000 on your team total, you can double your money. If you spend
Yep.
if you spend $1,000, you can quintuple your money. And you're also going to get it was 10%. 10% of the total prize pool is going to go to the 7 teams that make the playoffs.
Yep.
That one league that I was in, I think the first year I actually made money. I didn't make much. I didn't spend much. I think I only spent like $250, but I came top points a couple times and I made the playoffs both years. But after that, it was just, there was no incentive to get farther almost. The other thing that you came up with, again, another great idea, is weekly high scores, but instead of giving it equally 3 ways, we're splitting it up where if you have the highest score per week, you're going to get 50% of the high score. If you have 30%, you're going to get second. And if you have 30%, you're going to get third. So everyone's going to have a chance every week to make money based on their top points,
Yep.
which is
Love
awesome.
that.
So the same thing, there's a bunch of different ways to get your money back and make a return on investment, whether you're spending $400 or you're spending $4,000. There's
Mhm.
huge opportunity. consolation prize champion. We talked about that. Do you want to add anything to this?
No, I think it's just about, it really comes down to like strategy and every manager's strategy is going to be different. Some people might be in this just to win the championship. Others might be in it to just, double their money or do whatever, or just, I think, you could have a team that spends I mean, at the end of the day, this is fantasy football. I mean, as much as it's skill, a lot of luck's involved as well.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, you could have a five, $600 team. They get lucky, they hit a couple high scores, they sneak in the playoffs, they get the playoff bonus, they get some high scores. They've already like last year. I think I got six in the other league I'm in. I got six high scores, pretty much paid for my team, which I was only down like $140, and then I got second place, which was like $3,400. My ROI was $3,200 on a $800 investment.
So you were basically free rolling by the time you got into the playoffs.
Exactly. So I think that's a good point. I think it's great that we're allowing, the losing bracket teams that don't make the playoffs still to compete for something, so they could almost benefit from teams that overspend, they could have something to play for even if they only spent $400 on a team.
Absolutely. And that's what and I mean, that, like I said, that was one of the biggest things where it was like, if there was a lower spending team,
Yeah.
how can you get something
Yeah.
back and almost,
Yeah.
and also if you're the 12th place team and the shittiest team, you don't deserve to win any money either. You should
Yeah.
pay more money. Like,
No, and I'm not a big guy on, like my kids play sports. I'm not big on giving every single guy a trophy. I'm not big on, at the end of the day, like I love fantasy football, but at the end of the day, most people we're doing this we like gambling or we want to make some money.
absolutely.
Obviously winning the championship's nice, but I feel like in this league, it's about strategic, whether you want to go all in and spend heavy and just go for the big pot and just make minimal ROI, or if you want to be smart and just try to get the most ROI. At the end of the day, this league is all about strategy. And I think it's great because, you could have a team that doesn't have a deep pocket. They only have maybe $500 to spend. They still can be competitive if they're smart with their draft and they find
Absolutely.
value.
Absolutely.
Whereas you have someone with a big pocket that doesn't mind spending $2,000, they're just going for the championship. That could be a benefit to the people that don't have big pockets because you could potentially win their money without spending
Absolutely.
that much money.
And the thing that a lot of people forget about is they look about on draft day spending all the money and whatnot. The same thing with the waiver wire. The waiver wire is going to be
Yeah.
minimum. It's going to be dollar for dollar. So,
Yep.
and I mean, you just think about how many guys have come off. There wasn't a whole lot last year, but that was probably a fluke. But there's
I
been
mean, there
guys
was
that,
last year was pretty good. You look at guys like Michael Wilson, dude. The
yeah,
guy
Michael
Justin
Wilson. There
Justin
was
took
no
over a
Puka
team.
though, or I know ASB. A couple of years there was no really like but Rico was big
Rico
off the board.
Dowdle, Rico
Yeah,
Dowdle, Michael
that's true.
Wilson,
Yeah, yeah.
Jacoby Brissett came off as a quarterback, blew up.
Hmm.
There was guys. You could feel talent. It's
Most
just
certainly,
about
and it's funny, most of the time you can pick someone like you could pick a whole team off the waiver wire and be top points every week if you pick correctly. It's
yeah.
all so there's always and that's the
I mean,
same
look at
thing.
Parker Washington. Parker Washington won people championships last year. He was a free
Absolutely.
agent. Parker Washington was literally scoring 25 points a week the whole fantasy playoffs compared to Jameer Gibbs, a first round pick, can't even get in the double digits.
Blew it.
$300 player.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. So we got some names right here. I have not added to this, but I'm in this, Deng in this. This is my partner, McIntardy, James Winchell, who is my co-manager, James Ahedabo, who spent 10 years in the NFL. We got some more guys that have tracked in and whatnot. This is all the weekly bonuses. I'm gonna post this. It's all over the place. If you're interested in playing, give me Mike a shout out. It has everything here: roster format, half PPR. This
We're
is what
doing we're
no limit.
we're
There's
doing no IR at all.
Oh no, there is an IR, right?
One IR, right?
Yeah, one IR spot.
Correct. Yeah.
Um, and there's a whole lot of strategy that takes place in this league too. This is going to be a lot of strategy. It's going to be a week to week. This is who we're looking for. I put a picture ahead of Bo to kind of promote this on here. Uh,
Love it.
what's at stake? This is everything. All the more questions answered. We're going to do it on a site called Fantrax, which is a. Have you been on this site yet?
I have looked around on it. I haven't used it yet. I've obviously used Sleeper, Yahoo, ESPN, the standard stuff, CBS. I haven't. Fantrax looks pretty great. I know it's all custom. Looks pretty intriguing. I'm pretty excited about it. I mean, definitely excited about it. I've heard nothing but good things. I know it's a bunch of young fantasy nerds that created it.
Yeah, and it's funny because it's like they gave it to me. I think when you sign up initially, they give you one league for free. So they gave me all the great stuff for free and let me put everything around it. And it's like, I mean, there is so much that you can do with this thing. I mean, it's like you
Yeah,
can really tailor it
that's right.
to
I heard you can
what it's supposed
customize
to look.
everything. Yeah, I heard it's great. I'm really excited about it. I mean, my ultimate goal, obviously, I'm excited about this No Limit League, but my ultimate goal, I've been telling my friends since, for 3 years now about No Limit Fantasy, about this whole thing, and I'm hoping this is going to take it to the next level to get people in. I want my own Jersey league. I need my Jersey boys to buy into this.
That would be awesome. And it's like, it's like I mean, there's a couple guys who I know, a couple really nerdy guys that have, a long time ago, the business I owned, I was working on trying to put an app together. And I always think like, like look at DraftKings. That was just an idea almost.
Yeah,
Now
look
it's a
at Uber Eats. Look at
yeah.
Uber. Same thing.
Mhm.
It's a crazy. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, I was literally. I've been in a $1,500 buy-in for the last like 10 years. It's a huge league. Guys have deep pockets. I don't really know anyone. One of my buddies played college baseball with them all. I love the league. I was pounding them to try to get waivers to be real money for years. And I'll never forget. You called me and told me about this other league that we were in. And I was like, man, this is what I've been looking for. Because it's like, at the end of the day, we're adults here. Like I'm over like spending 250, even $500, like for a league that I'm going to spend 17 weeks of my time on. You do the math. It's like, this is $10 a week. I spend more on a DraftKings lineup, $100. It's like, I don't, I just spent 17 weeks to make $1,000. Like, come
Right.
on. Like I got 3 kids. Like I keep telling myself every year I'm going to quit my old leagues, but I keep adding leagues and not quitting. It's hard. It's got to be worth it, because we invest a lot of time and money into this.
The ultimate goal out of this is that 5 years from now we're not selling insurance or real estate anymore, and we're the CEO and CFO of No Limit Fantasy Football. Hopefully, that'll make life a lot easier.
That'd be the dream. If I could sell houses, I think I could sell fantasy league.
Exactly. Yo, easy, easy. So that's it. That's the Fantasy Football League. I'm going to post this again in the bottom. It's all over the place. We just need a couple more GMs. I'm going to update everything tonight, get everything
Get
going.
in, boys. Get in. It's April 4th. It's fantasy draft season's upon us. This is something you will not regret. The draft alone will blow your mind, and fantasy will never be the same for how you look at it. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. It brings it to an entirely new level. All right, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I have just gotten into this and just started really eyeing stuff and doing stuff. I don't know how far along you are on this, but I've been trying to put a more effort into it. But when I'm looking at the players this year, it is so much different, I think, than last year.
Very different. Very different. You know, I've done I'm a little behind this year, but I've recently gotten more involved. I've tried to change my strategy. Last year I was mock drafting like crazy, best balls early, and a lot of things change in August, so I kind of took some back seat. I do feel like other than the top 24 receivers, I feel like receivers are kind of a dart throw. The middle, the rounds 3 through 6, I don't like the receivers. I feel like I'd rather stack running backs in those rounds and basically do a hero receiver strategy. I feel like there's just a lot of receivers at the bottom that could hit and return value.
I'm going to throw some names at you, Mike. These are just some guys that I've been looking for, and these are guys that have been hot. And these are guys that have been names that I'm buzzing. But the first thing that I was thinking earlier is like when I'm looking at the draft, and you think that Gibson and Bijan are probably 1, 2 interchangeably almost. Then you get to the third, fourth, fifth, and that's probably pretty right with Puka,
Yeah,
Chase, and JSN. But then you get to the sixth pick where you have
yeah,
CMC,
it's
Taylor.
brutal. It's
Yeah.
brutal.
So like if you have the sixth pick, tell me, and those five guys are gone. Tell me who do you think you're taking?
I mean, if it's 6 and it's full PPR, I'm probably taking Amon-Ra St. Brown. full safety. You can't miss in the first round. You know what you're getting. You're getting 1,000+ yards. You're getting 10+ touchdowns. Obviously, injury could change that. Christian McCaffrey, obviously, you want to take the high risk. You could take him at 6. I'm not doing it. It's not my style. The guy's getting old. I just, don't see it. I think the best picks in the draft are top 5 and the bottom 2. Three
Yeah,
through 3 through 5 is the best, I feel like. Because at 3, I feel like Chase could easily be number 1 in PPR. So at 3,
sure.
you're getting a
Mhm.
top 3 guy, and at 5, JSN's a little hard for me to swallow at 5. I love the guy, but I feel like regression is coming. But in PPR, I feel like he'll return. He'll do the job.
I
Um,
mean, he's young. He had a great year. I
got
mean,
paid, got paid big money.
you let me ask you about, you get to the second round and I saw this guy up here and
That's a huge mistake.
Jeremiah Love. It's like there's no offensive line. There's so many running backs still on that team. I think Benson's
Yeah.
still on that team. It's like,
Benson, Connor,
you
they signed Tyler Algier. They paid him money. It
right,
made
right.
I can't see me touching him with a 10-foot pole before the third round at the
And I
earliest.
think,
I don't even like him there.
I think Love going to, I don't think it was a good pick by Arizona to begin with,
Yeah,
almost, with the third pick
wasn't
taking him. But he's a great player. I think he's on the really
good.
strong team too. I
I
mean,
love it. I love his college friend though. I'll tell you, I love his college friend.
so and I like him too. We're going to get to that. I'm going to get down to that. Here's another guy who's been up and down, left and right. I've been hearing a lot about here is Omarion Hampton.
Love him.
Love him. I like Hampton a lot too.
Boom.
These two guys have been, it seems like they've been in fantasy football forever. I'm not touching either one of these guys, I don't think.
Who's that?
Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry.
I mean, I'll tell you, I think Barkley's a great value where he's going. I mean, I love Hampton. I love Chase Brown. It is hard to pass on Barkley. I feel like they are going to feed him the rock this year. I mean, I know Hurts steals the touchdowns. I know you're a huge Eagle fan. You know I love Barkley from Penn State and the Giants. I just don't see how Barkley's fallen out of the first round and not good value. Henry, a different story. Just, doesn't get the catches, doesn't catch passes like Barkley. Totally different animal. He'll get the touchdowns. He'll probably do fine. Just not my style of player. I was never a big Derrick Henry guy. Screwed me several years in his younger years. Had him a couple times, did good. But Barkley, I think Barkley blows up this year. I think he has a huge year.
I think I agree with you to that point too. Last year there were two big things. There was a new offensive coordinator who
Who
was
sucked?
absolutely horrendous, and their offensive line was banged up. This new coordinator they got, he wants to run the ball more. He's got a lot
Run
of
the
different
ball.
zone runs,
Yep.
and their offensive line is healthy right now. As long as that offensive line is healthy,
Yep.
the other thing is, AJ Brown's gone, so I think
Gone.
that,
No more crying for
yep.
targets. They're just
Mhm.
gonna. I mean, I love Smitty, but I mean, at the end of the day, I think Saquon Barkley is going to be the center of the focus of their offense.
He almost has to be. Kenneth Walker, Kansas City Chiefs Super Bowl MVP.
Love the player. I'm not seeing the value where he's going in the draft right now. I just feel there's other guys I like better in that area.
Is Nico Collins going too late right now? He was a late end first round pick last year. It looks like he's a late second round, early third round
I
pick this year.
do. I think he's one of the last top tier receivers I like in the first 2 rounds. I think he is going later because of his injury history. The injury histories are a concern. Obviously, his quarterback hasn't been great either. Obviously, they are going to try to run the ball, but I think Nico Collins should not be going as late as he's going.
I agree. AJ Brown
I mean, I was never a big AJ Brown guy. I do love the situation, love Drake May. I haven't decided if he's going to force feed AJ Brown or he's going to spread the ball all over to Dobbs and Butte and all them, but I'm struggling to take him early second round where he's going. I just feel like I'd rather take a stud running back in that position, but he could blow up or he could shit the bed. It's a tough situation. I'm not I'm 50-50 on what's going to happen. He could easily be a top 5 receiver or he could easily be receiver 24.
agree completely. This next guy, when he's on the field, phenomenal. Malik Neighbors.
Love him. I mean, I'm a little bummed that I'm happy as a Giant fan. He's back in camp. Things are going, but I'm a little mad because I was so excited to be stealing him in the fifth round in drafts and best balls. With people not thinking he was going to miss out the first 5, 6 weeks. Once he wasn't on the pup list, I was eating him. I was ready to eat him up. But now I think he's probably going to move up to the second, third round, probably. Because there's a lot of words on him being healthier now. Like I was all over Rashee Rice last year, even with the 5 game suspension. He was falling to rounds
Mhm.
5 and 6, and he crushed it when he came back. If you can, you know, start the season off strong and then you get a receiver like that back, that's what wins championships.
Cam Skeetabo.
Cam Scattaboo, I think he has all the potential in the world. Where he's going, I think he's going mid fourth round, early fourth round.
Yeah, they have him right here going in, I mean, they have him 39th overall, so early fourth round.
Yeah, I mean, I think the value's there. I think when he played last year, he was uh points per game, he was a top 12 back, I believe. I think he scored 8 touchdowns in less than 5 weeks. I mean, the potential's there. I think the Giants with John Harbaugh are going to try to run the rock. I think he's in for a big year. I think both Giants running backs are in for a big year.
Um, is there any quarterback besides the one we're taking in the first 4 rounds, besides Josh?
Um, I'm not taking any quarterbacks in the first 4 rounds, me personally. But yeah, other than Josh, I don't see it. I don't. I think there's too much value later. I'd rather wait till, if one of the mid-range guys fall to the seventh or eighth round. I personally am not taking a quarterback before I have my starters filled in with wide receivers and running backs, and my flexes filled. I just not doing it.
And it's, you look last year, Josh was the best number one overall quarterback, but you look at the next guys that were on there, which were Stafford,
I
May,
had Stafford and Dak and May in every league. Those were my
all
guys.
down there. And the
All
guys who
after the
did
10th
well and
round.
won their leagues had those quarterbacks way down there.
Yep.
Um, I just traded for this guy. I like him. I like him. Luther Burden.
Think he's going too early. Love him, but I think he's going way too early. I think he's going fourth round right now, almost sometimes.
Yeah, he's going up there. Yep.
I mean, Adunze, as I know he's got injuries. Loveland's there. I mean, I love the Bears offense. Love Caleb. I love Luther Burden. I mean, if I have him in a keeper league in the later rounds, I'll eat him up. But I can't take him in the fourth round. I just can't do it.
If you have Burden or a Dunsey, who would you rather take?
Uh, I think Burden's going to have the better year. Dunze doesn't look the same with his feet and the way he's running routes. But I mean, I think Adunze's he's sixth, seventh round compared to fourth. Um, Me personally, I think that offense is going to be, Swift, Nungai, Loveland. It's going to be a lot of them.
Yep. I'm going to get to a few more, and then we're going to let you go, Mike. But there's a few more down here. I want to throw one. I want to throw one or two guys at you. But we just talked about two of these guys right here. All right.
Yep,
The boy from Notre Dame, the rookie Jadarian Price, going number 63 overall, probably like sixth, seventh, fifth,
yep.
sixth, seventh round. I like him a lot on Seattle. I don't know
Love
why
them,
he's going so late. I
love them.
like
It
him
makes no
way up
sense.
top.
I mean, you look at Genti, Love. You look at all these rookie running backs that go early. I mean, this guy's got Charbonnet hurt. He's got no competition. He's an absolute stud. I mean, if I need running backs, I'm taking him end of the fifth. If he's there in the sixth, I'm taking him all day, eating
I
him up
mean,
in every league. He's worth
I
the risk, eating him up.
and another guy that I think goes right with him is the Tootin in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I mean, I have Tootin in a dynasty league. I drafted him last year. I have Tootin as a potential keeper in another league. I think, the offense, the scheme is there. I think he's going to catch balls. I like where he's going in drafts. I mean, I think there's enough. Like, there's no risk. The risk isn't really there. You're taking him in the sixth round. Like, even if he's a flex, it's returning value.
Exactly. Exactly. Two more guys. I think there's two more guys that I want to ask you about. Kenny Gainwell on Tampa Bay.
Love him.
I like Kenny a lot too. I like Kenny a ton. this guy he's been people have been talking about him like crazy. Those are bad injuries. Jonathan Brooks, Carolina,
He looks good.
does look good. He does look good. Those
I
are
think they're
some,
going to give him every opportunity to be at least a 50-50 guy.
he's got a,
I mean, you're
he was,
looking ninth round value. He's going in ninth round, I think, maybe.
yep.
So,
And
I
he
mean,
was
I
a
got him in a dynasty league. I've been holding on for 2 years. I drafted him in the top five 2 years ago or 3 years ago,
he
and I'm
was he was a
praying
he was a second round draft pick
out
in
of
the
Texas. Yeah, they
yeah,
they drafted him high, and they didn't re-sign Dowdle after all he did. So
no,
that should tell you
no,
something.
let him walk. Let him
Yeah,
walk. Travis Kelsey, I heard is overweight.
he looks overweight from Instagram videos, but at the end of the day, he'll do what he needs to do. I mean, he's got Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I think he's going in like the ninth round, 10th
Very
round.
late. Very late. I got a guy. I Let me throw two more guys down there. One of these guys played really good in the playoffs last year. I like him a lot. I think Kyron Williams is still going to be the man, but I think Blake Corum is going to get a lot more time this year.
Yep, he's coming.
And they're a really good team. I think you're going to see the Rams ahead a lot, where
Yep,
Corum's get a lot more opportunities.
yep. I
And
think
then
he's going to get a lot of opportunities.
the other guy who's getting a lot of talks is this rookie in Cleveland, wide receiver Casey
Yep,
Constipation.
yep. He's like a mini Tyreek Hill.
Worth a flyer, absolutely worth a flyer,
Yep,
But I mean, it's like, I look at this and it's just like, God, I want to bring up last year because it looks so different. It just looks so
so
different
different.
from last year. Still got a lot more homework to do, but yeah. So, how many leagues are you in, man?
Oof. So, I think I want to say it's going to be with this league 13. A couple of them I share with my dad.
13 leagues. My girl never watches this because she thinks I'm like a total fantasy football degenerate because I'm in 7 leagues, I think.
My
I
wife doesn't want me to do more than seven, so if she hears this, she'll kill me.
I'm gonna show her this video. You think I'm the biggest degenerate? This guy's the biggest fantasy
I got
football.
two. I have to put leagues in my dad's profile just because she'll see my Yahoo account and lose it. So I'm pumped about Fan Tracks and Sleeper now because she doesn't know about those. So I hide a couple in there. She don't know.
Hey, they go knitting and they do all their. It's just
Get
it's
a
something.
hobby, not my
Yeah,
problem.
they won't ever understand, and we
She
won't ever understand them. So it's gonna
I
be a
just got to
long
buy her
year.
something nice every year.
I hope we can have you back on the show. I hope we can make
Yes,
it almost a regular thing. You've always been a great guest. And like I said, man,
appreciate that.
this is one of the great things about fantasy football. We did not know each other at all 4 or 5 years
Yep.
ago. Now we're good pals. We're in a bunch of leagues. We're
I think
creating.
4 leagues together now.
This is what I love is it's the camaraderie and the brotherhood
Yep.
that's and the people you meet along the way. This really makes this such a great
Yep.
league. The love of football and sports and the whole 9 yards. And Mike, thank you so much for being on. You're always a great guest, my
Thanks
guy.
for having me, brother. Really appreciate it. Love what you're doing with the show. Keep it up. We'll talk soon.
I'll talk to
Can't
you
wait to
soon.
close out to get these 12 GMs locked in and start going.
Absolutely. I'll talk to you soon,
All right.
brother.
Have a great night,
Be
brother.
good.
Peace.